This is the plasma cutter from Fallout 76. And I got it sized on my TV so that it is, where can you see it? It's exactly MHS width for the grip, so that's what I can use for that. 1.45 inches. I'm not really paying too much attention to how much more the rubber will add to it, since the grooves are going to be a lot thicker than those grooves, so there's going to be a little bit of fudging. Overall, this right here is about 20 and an eighth. I don't know, just a little over 20 inches. So we'll see how this goes. The whole thing is mostly done. I still got to go over my notes to see what I still need to do, but this is mostly done. I haven't secured the handle yet. I will after I put the push button right there. Where's the push button? Push button. Be one of these. So that'll be the main power. And then there's going to be a button under here for the aux. And then this is a rotary switch. It'll be in this position when it's off. And then to power it up, push the whole thing down. The original functionality of that was because this is extendable. According to like the concept art, this was up and it would be retracted, and then you push this down and then everything would come out and then the beams would activate. Right now these are just 8mm polycarbonate tubes. I got some of this stuff. This is basically just cob LEDs without the PCB, so they're all in parallel and surprisingly sturdy. You can put a good amount of tension on it, which means I'll be able to stretch it straight and it won't be all wobbly and stuff. I don't know how bright it is. Well, I've tested them and they work, but I still want to see what it looks like in here. And I got a couple of them, so hopefully if I need more, I can just add a couple more in there. This is 6mm inner diameter, and I can fit like 3 or 4 of these in there if I need to. Hopefully I won't need that many. The hand guard is not secured yet. Ends are radiused to MHS shroud material down here, and then the 1 inch up here. All the critical components are screwed together, minus this thing. This whole thing right here is aluminum tube, 7/8, and then there's a 3/4 inch inside there. And this is actually a screw to hold all that stuff together. These are a couple of 1032s to hold them to the body. A couple of more 1032s just for decoration. And then there's a couple of really small ones. This is an M3 and that's an M2.5 to secure the head on. The top of the head actually comes off too, again, so that I can route the wiring through here down into the neck, etc., etc. The body is almost entirely Sintra with a couple of cast parts. These right here, those are my soy sauce bottle tops. I made a silicone mold for this, and this rubber gasket right here for the those things. This right here, again, I believe that's a spring. According to concept drawings, I had made this, and I had some LEDs and stuff that I could put in there, but this kind of looks ugly, and I didn't really like the way this turned out, so I just decided to not do that, make it just a cosmetic greeble. The core, I believe. This lights up right here. This is just some reactive polycarbonate tube, and I got a blue LED around here somewhere so that this will light up a nice sickly green. Just some PVC, a couple of screws, and that's it. I like that it'll still be green when it's off. Something like that. So, okay, we'll let you know when we get some more progress done. All right, so it's basically constructed. This is painted, pre-weathered. The way it'll work is that there'll be a power button right here. This slides down to activate it, and then there'll be another tactile switch under there for the aux. But otherwise, that worked out pretty well. I have no idea how well it's gonna light up with the filament. Handguard is nice and sturdy, and this isn't too jiggly. I just gotta weather it now. I'll do the black and brown and tiny bit of rust. Most of the pictures don't actually show a whole lot of rust, if any at all, so I'll keep the rust minimal. Yeah. Bzz, bzz. so here's the finished version. I'm calling it finished just because I don't really want to work on it anymore. It looks not bad from here. But the biggest challenge so far has been these little circles here. The problem with these is I used really old Smoothcast 300, and on top of that, I didn't mix it up very well. It's a known issue that if you don't mix up parts A and part B sufficiently, and then you mix them, it's not going to cure properly. And they actually say that on the Smoothcast website, that it'll leak oil and stuff like that, and that's exactly what happened, is that it was leaking like oily, sticky stuff, and they don't really have a solution listed. They just said, do it over again, and unfortunately it's already integrated, so I kind of have to live with that sticky, oily stuff. Painting doesn't do anything. Paint doesn't stick to it. It sticks a little bit on this side. This is just straight acrylic paint, but those shiny spots, that's where it's leaking and stuff like that. So
now let that be a lesson to the lot of you.
I'm just going to accept the very weathered look and just sort of deal with it. Otherwise, everything else turned out great. I ended up using a PC3, and the sound fonts that I have loaded are a custom welder font that I made for Space Trash. But yeah, it works just the way I had hoped. It's super bright. I have the APOP turned on, which means that once you turn it on, you can't turn it off until you confirm it with the aux button. Which, by the way, that's the aux button right there. Again, worked out great. So the beams is actually just that LED filament that I was talking about, the PCB-less cob, and I was able to fit two in here. One is sufficiently bright. When you give it the proper amount of current, it's really super bright, but I put two per line because there's actually a dark side on these things, so I just put two butt to butt so that it's shining out that way. And you can see there's two in there. I have them at least tight enough so that they're not going to rattle around and that dark spot isn't going to shift. So, and on top of that, you can't tell. You can maybe see, oh, there, you can sort of see the separation and stuff like that, but that's if you're looking at it straight on. And, come on, where is it? Hello. Light, focus back. Yeah, that's how bright it is. The core turned out really well. I like that green. It's diffused so that it just looks like a nice uniform glow. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's a really weak attempt at a Vault-Tec logo. Yes, I understand that Vault-Tec really only made vaults, and it's implied they made other stuff too, but because that's a recognizable logo, that's what I went with. I made a cover for the guts. It just covers up the soundboard, and the red and yellow lines, those are visible in all the pictures of the plasma cutter. Is the recharge port on the side greeble there. Checking the notes. The reason I made this is that I had the idea to do like a lightsaber ripper. Because of the fact that I made that steampunk lightsaber chainsaw gun blade, I was just like, lightsaber in place of chainsaw is cool, and I thought that would be cool here, but then I saw that they have a plasma cutter in the Fallout universe, and I was just like, well, that's obviously even more lightsabery. There's a couple of different versions of this. According to the concept art, there's three. There's this one, there's the single one, and then there's the frost beam, which I think is really cool. And if I were to ever get sick of this, that would be a really cool addition to put like a big, huge beam right there. I probably won't. Yeah, I definitely won't.
Okie dokie.